guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about disability and Disneyland Paris, plus priority passes and disability parking. We're going to go off our personal experiences, as we are both classed as disabled, but we have both got different disabilities. Our personal experience from February was they're very disability friendly.
Yep.
Accessibility to rides and cast members are very well trained, plus the characters, if you're like in a wheelchair or something, always come to you and make you a priority. As I said, our disabilities are very different. I do struggle with mobility, but not as much as he does due to an accident. Do you want to tell them how you found like the walking and the accessibility to rides and so on and so forth?
Yeah, obviously we've been Disneyland, there's a lot of walking. If you struggle walking, you can hire wheelchairs. You cannot hire mobility scooters through the park. Looking into it, you have to hire it through an outside source, and it will get delivered to your hotel. One thing about that is the hotel does not provide anywhere you can actually charge your mobility scooter. So that is another thing to take into consideration.
Plus, we stayed at Sequoia Lodge when we went last time, and there was, I don't know if you remember, there was an older person on a mobility scooter, and the lift downstairs is the only way to get up the stairs, because when you come in from the park, you're like behind the hotel, and you've got to go up, was it 3 flights of stairs to get to...
No, there's two.
2 flights of stairs. To get up to like the main reception area and then to where the rooms are. But also when we went, there was like a blackout. Not necessarily a blackout.
No, it's a mandatory...
They were trying to save electricity.
Yeah.
Like the whole country. And they had to turn off, they were obviously didn't turn off the whole hotel or the park, but they had to turn off certain sections, like the shop was shut. I think it was between 1 and 3, was it? 12 and 3, something like that?
It was between 1 and 3.
Okay.
1 and 3, they shut down lifts, the shop, and certain lighting was off.
Now this, obviously we was in Sequoia Lodge, but that went for all the hotels,
all the hotels. Some of the lighting outside the hotels as well was off.
Oh yeah.
But nothing inside the park was affected at all.
No, it was just something.
Yeah, it's just the hotel.
I'm assuming they chose that time. I think they must have had like a choice, because that would have been obviously between 1 and 3. Most people would have been in the park, so it didn't really matter. But getting back to the accessibility issue, there was only 1 lift, and you couldn't get up and down the stair. I mean, if you wasn't able-bodied
from the ground floor or lower ground floor to get to the reception area, they only had 1 lift, and as we said, there was 2 flights of stairs. Obviously, with that lift being turned off, anyone in a wheelchair can't get to reception without having to walk right round
to the front
of the hotel, which is probably another 5 minutes walking.
Or pushing, or someone else trying to get you there. That was the only real downfall, just in general. But like in our hotel, before we go to the parks, but in our hotel, everything was big, wasn't it? Like you could have got a wheelchair into the elevators, even though I think the disability rooms, I mean, we didn't need it. We don't need a wheelchair constantly. But they were downstairs, weren't they, on the lower floors for the actual disabled rooms?
Yeah, I wouldn't say the lifts were big enough for the bigger mobility scooters, but definitely the smaller ones, something that you would probably pack away in a car, you'd be able to get in a lift.
And the electric wheelchairs, like even the bigger electric wheelchairs.
The electric wheelchairs would fit in as well.
Other than that, all the cast members, staff in hotels were very accommodating. Like if you needed help with anything, they would be there. We didn't even call the room. Like we had people coming to sort out a tap that we didn't even call for. But they were very, very good. Hotel staff, cast members, are very, very good. In the parks, Again, cast members were lovely. There's nothing that it wasn't too much trouble. Like for going onto rides, one of my disabilities, I have anxiety. I suffer really bad with like panic attacks and so on and so forth. And I also have fibromyalgia. So like literally I could be fine 1 minute and not the next. Like literally can happen in seconds. We was in a queue for one of the rides, can't remember what it was.
I think it was Spider-Man, Web Slingers.
Oh, Web Slingers, yeah. And I was fine. We didn't get the priority passes at this point because there was a lot of us. And you can only have, which we'll get to with priority passes, obviously, sorry, it's a bit all over the place. But you can only have a certain amount of people with you on priority pass. We was a group of 8.
Yeah.
And obviously we wanted to stick together. And we went in winter, so also that we didn't really queue up for very long on anything anyway.
No.
And we stayed in a Disney hotel, so we had magic hour. So anything that we wanted to get done that was really popular, like Crush's Coaster or Web Slingers or whatever, we got there first. So we wasn't waiting in a long line anyway. But this one particular time, I was fine, then I wasn't. And it was getting quite crowded. If I can see an exit, I'm all right because I can get to an exit, I can get out. And this particular time, I could see an exit, but I couldn't get to it. So I started panicking more. But by the time we got, it was moving along quickly, and I can't do it. But cast members basically saw what was happening, made sure that I was okay, gave me a choice whether I wanted to go on and off it. And that doesn't just go for that. That goes in general. If you go on a ride and you get to the front and you're like, I don't want to do this, no judgment. They will get you off. They will get you another place. It happened with our son on Tower of Terror. Absolutely fine. But they're equipped to deal with you. Well, not equipped. I don't know if they've had proper training, but they were very good.
Yeah.
And if they see you struggling, like they can get you to sit down. They can give you a chair. Like they're very, very good. Also for me, another part of my condition, I need a restroom. Like I have to know where a restroom is all the time for panicking reasons. And they have loads. They have at least 2 sets of toilets in each land, at least 2 sets of toilets in each land, and they're quite big. Like there's plenty of stalls in each one. They have some at the beginning of like Main Street. They have a few in the arcades. Like they're everywhere. And as long as I knew where they were, and I knew I could get out, I was okay-ish. And that was in both parks. So that would help me, because we booked it a year before, and all I was like, I can't do it, I can't go. The morning, because we had to get a train, I was like, I can't do it, I'm not going, sorry, can't do it, you'll have to go without me. Like I was an absolute mess. With help from medication from the doctor and everything else and other breathing techniques and whatever, I managed to get on there. But actually in the park, they were absolutely amazing. And that was my part of disability. So the fibromyalgia, it does affect my walking and stuff. I have a cane. That was nothing. Everything was quite flat, wasn't it? Like there wasn't anything I would have said.
No. Nothing was sort of too like steep or inclined. It was majority flat. Yeah. I
wouldn't say there's plenty of seating. That'd be a lie. There is some benches around, but I wouldn't have said there was an abundance.
No, there's a lot of low walls that generally a lot of people use for seating.
And the curb as well.
Yeah, when the parades are on, some people sit on the curb and stuff like that. But there is a priority area for when the parades are on for people with disabilities and people that have the priority pass.
As I said, we are going to go back in October. We booked it last year, just myself and Michael, and we kind of looked into disability things prior to going the last time, but because there was so many of us, we were just like, we hadn't been for 16 years was the last time we'd gone to Paris. We was just like, look, we're only there for 5 days, there's loads of us, we'll suck it up, When we got back, obviously after being and thinking like how many times I panicked in a line and him and his legs swelling up and so on and so forth, like we've got to come up with a better plan, or otherwise we're going to end up spending majority of the time in the room. So this is when we come back and we found out about these and phoned Disney themselves. and found out about all these passes. If you're in a wheelchair, or they hire out wheelchairs and they hire out buggies as well, like prams,
Strollers.
But it is on a first come first served basis. They don't do that in the hotels. I think they have a wheelchair to get you to like the bus or something outside, but I don't think it's something you can hire. I just think it's something that they can help you with. But in the park, they do hire them out. As he said, they do not hire out disabled buggies. So if you think you can go and get a mobility scooter, if you think you're not going to.
No.
Unless you are driving or can take one with you, there is no way you're going to get one. And we did look before we went. You can get it from an outside source, but they wanted €500.
Yeah, it's €250 as a secure deposit, and it's €250 for 7 days. You can't just hire them out just for, say, 5 days that you're there. You've got to pay for the whole 7 days.
If you are driving, like we're driving next time, so it's going to be easier for us to take our own wheelchair to take. We could hire we don't have a disabled scooter, a mobility scooter. I keep saying sorry. We don't have a mobility scooter because at the point we don't really need one. We have a car, we have wheelchairs, we have other stuff if needed. But we are driving, so this time round it's going to be easier just to put what we need in our boot and use it for the 3 days. When we went the last time, we went on the Eurostar, and there must be a way, but I cannot see how you could have got one on the Eurostar at all, unless there was like something underneath the train that they would have stored it for you.
No, I would assume that you would have to put a wheelchair where luggage goes.
Yeah, wheelchair probably, but like I was talking about, like a disabled, a mobility scooter.
Mobility scooter. No, I didn't see anywhere that you would be able to put one, unless they have a certain car that you can get in on a mobility scooter.
But we don't know. We didn't look into it. We don't know. We went on the train. The train was quite compact. We didn't stay in first class. We stayed in standard. You can book your seats and all that prior. Just while we're on that subject a bit quickly, at the end of May this year, beginning of May this year, the Eurostar is not going to be going into Disney anymore. I can't even pronounce it. I'm not even going to butcher it. But there is a train station that's actually basically in Disney Village. That is not going to be going there from now on, from May. It will be stopping at Lille.
Yeah, you'd have to get a train to Lille, the Eurostar to Lille, and then change from there to get to Disney.
I will put the proper word in where Disney is. I know it in my head. I'm just not going to say because I'm going to embarrass myself even more.
Yeah, we're not that good at French, so
we'll learn it for you another.
We'll put the word in at the bottom, maybe somewhere here.
But even when we take our children next time, we're going to be driving. We just think although it's 3 hours, we're going to be going from Folkestone because it's around the area that we live, or closest to where we live is closer than London. We're going to be going from Folkestone into Calais, and then we're going to drive from Calais to Disney because it's just going to be so much easier for us in the long run, especially like changing. It would be if you wasn't going to go to just like a normal train station, even though it is only one stop. There is that many of us. Our son also has ADHD, like trying to keep an eye on him, trying to worry about us. It's just not worth it for us. It's going to works out cheaper as well.
Yeah, it's cheaper to drive
than it is to get the train. Slightly off topic. Anyway, what you've actually come here for is the disability priority pass. Now, I know a bit about it, but I'm going to pass you over to Michael because he knows more, pretty much.
Yeah, so the priority pass, you can get it to certainly help with queues for the attractions. I wouldn't say it would give you instant access, but it will cut down sort of your wait time. So, as I said, it's a priority, not immediate. With the process on requesting a card, you do have to have a certain disability. There is a list, which I'll put a link down in the description to the priority pass itself on the Disneyland website.
And with if you had at the moment, backtrack, at the moment they are revisiting the annual passes.
Yeah.
Which upsets a bit because we was actually going to go and get annual passes because it would have worked out cheaper for us as a family to buy annual passes and a holiday than to have it in with a holiday, if that makes sense. But at the moment they're revisiting it. But if you do have an annual pass, then the second you can get a priority pass, they put that on your annual pass so you don't have to keep applying for it every minute.
Yeah, because applying for the priority pass, you can only do 1 month before your visit, and it lasts only for 7 days. If you was to have an annual pass, you can apply for it and they will link it to your annual pass for the whole year. With that, if you do apply for the priority pass, it does state that you and one person can get 25% off your ticket price. We're not 100% sure how this works. Because we booked the tickets first and then applied for the priority pass, which when going through the process for it doesn't give you an option to purchase your tickets, and the same when purchasing the tickets, it doesn't give you the option to put in about your priority pass. Looking into it, we do have to collect that from the ticket stalls at Disney. I do believe you have to also upload a picture of yourself when doing the online form to request it.
Yeah.
It's fairly easy to do. I did take some screenshots of when we done it, so I will put them on the screen. But yeah, I think it will probably help with people that struggle in queues, people that struggle with standing for long periods of time during like peak times. You can be standing in a queue like upwards of an hour.
Well, the longest ride I think we had to wait for, which was first thing in the morning, was Crush's Coaster, wasn't it? Because that ride is always ridiculous. It's like 2.5 hour wait.
No,
and Thunder Mountain.
Yeah, I think Thunder Mountain.
I think that was only half an hour.
Was longer than Crush's Coaster.
And also with the waiting and the queues, it's okay if the queue is like straightforward. Obviously not straight, it goes like that, but like on the flat. But with like Thunder Mountain and Crush's Coaster, and I think Space Mountain, it's like upstairs, downstairs, upstairs, downstairs, and that's okay. Like if you can do that, that's okay.
If you can do it.
But if you're struggling, and it's not, it's like I was gonna say mesh stairs, but that's not what I mean. You know, like the metal grated stairs.
Grated.
So it's not like, I mean, it's steady. Don't get me wrong. Like you're not gonna fall off it, but it just, if you when you because he can't bend his ankles, so he hits his toes or the bottom of his feet and stuff, like to make him budge forward, and that kind of material makes you do that more, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the priority pass, as he says, it will obviously be on a flatter surface. You still have to wait a little bit, but it's going to be in like a line and not up and down stairs on these certain rides.
Yeah. I think it will be no stairs. They'll get you in like a lower section. On the Tower of Terror, it is, I think it goes up and down.
Oh yeah, no, that was shocking.
Up and down stairs.
Yeah.
But I think with the priority pass, they would get you on the lower level, so you don't have to do the stairs.
Yeah, I don't understand how they did that, because they've got two elevators, one upstairs, one downstairs, and you just kind of all go into one queue, and I don't understand how you end up on separate levels. I don't. But no, again, yeah, that was up and down quite a lot actually.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think there was any other major ride that we had to go up and downstairs other than that one. Yeah, I can't think of another ride. Obviously with wheelchairs and stuff, I believe you can get them on a majority of the rides. You know, I think I saw it on Buzz Lightyear ride. There is a special cart that you can put your wheelchair into, and I believe on Web Slingers as well there is a
You can just put your wheelchair on.
Yeah, it's a special one that you can get your wheelchair into.
Oh, while I thought of it, the buses from the hotels.
Okay.
Now, obviously, if you're staying on not a partner hotel or not a Disney hotel, obviously I can't talk for that, but for any Disney hotels and partner hotels, majority anyway, they have buses that they put on from the hotel to go straight in to Disney Village. We walked it for the first couple of days because we were like, it's not that far, because the hotel was on the other side of the lake through past Disney Village. After a couple of days, me and him were like, that is far. I mean, it's not, but it's far. So we ended up getting the bus, but I didn't like, the buses are quite big because some of them go straight from the certain hotel, like the Sequoia Lodge one.
Sequoia Lodge goes straight from
Sequoia Lodge
hotel to
Disney Village.
To Disney Village.
But there are some, especially sister hotels, I think, that share.
I think the partner hotels, the Dream Castle and the Explorers Hotel, I believe them two share the bus. And I think there's a couple of other ones like the B&B Hotel. And I think there's one more, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
I know the one that doesn't have a bus is Davy Crockett. Is that the one that doesn't have a bus?
Yeah, no, you have to, obviously from that one you would have to drive, which we'll get onto the parking shortly.
But anyway, yeah, the buses, as I was trying to get my point across, are quite big. You can get a wheelchair on there, no problem. They're amazing actually. They have like a rotation bit in the middle.
Bendy buses.
Bendy buses. It's cool. I've never seen one before. Because I don't get on a bus. But on this occasion, so yeah, there's space in the middle, and even the seats, to be fair, and at the beginning, like there's plenty of space for a wheelchair. But that obviously does go on how many people are getting on the bus. Like, but even from Sequoia Lodge, because from the lake you've got Sequoia Lodge, you've got Marvel Hotel, and then you've got Newport Bay, and that are around. And behind Sequoia Lodge is where Cheyenne and Santa Fe are.
Hotel Cheyenne and Santa Fe.
But all that, like from them, all the hotels, even though it can be a bit of a distance, all the hotels straight to the park is flat. So even if you did want to push yourself, or if someone's pushing you, you just want to walk because it's a nice day, or the lake is quite pretty with all the ducks and stuff, it's not a bad journey.
No.
I mean, we went and it was freezing. When everyone else goes, it's warm, but no, it's doable and it's not a bad journey. I say it's flat, it's easy to get across, and even on security, because obviously there is quite a lot of security, which is a good thing. But they all accommodate for people in wheelchairs, and like they can do your scan thing and whatnot. But yeah. Well, I remember there is an accessibility map on the Disneyland Paris website, and on the app. The app is amazing, honestly. It gives you everything, anything to do with disability you could find on there. Plus wait times for rides, show times, what characters are around, which your priority pass, which we'll get back to in a minute, helps as well. You can not skip queues, but you get seen a bit quicker to see characters as well. Now, again, my brain doesn't work this way. So going back to the passes.
Yeah, going back to the priority pass. Obviously, when collecting it from the ticket stalls, you will need to show your disability documents. Some people don't like carrying around original documents, which is understandable. Yeah. But we've come across what is called an access card, which, you know, is like a disability pass in itself.
You get it in this country. It's an official website. You have to show your original disability papers that you got from disability or PIP or whatever. Whoever has said, yes, you've got this disability, you need your official papers. You can apply for this card online. It costs...
Yeah, it's £15 to apply. It lasts for 3 years. And
you just got to send photos.
If you it asks you to scan up your documents when applying, and it goes through a list of questions to ask certain things that you can and can't do, and they have it's discrete, so it has little images of certain types of disabilities or your needs. I will put a picture in of a sample card. I do have some other pictures that I can put on the screen.
So, like, if we both got cards, or I have applied for mine, he already has his, ours will have different things on it because we have different disabilities. It's still a disability card, it will still last for 3 years, but mine will tailor to my disabilities where his tailors to his.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll leave all the links down in the description for the access card. The process to apply for it is very, very easy, and Disneyland Paris is on the list that accepts the card.
Oh yeah, this
as
is
proof.
That's the point. It's not just for Disneyland. Like, you can use this in this country, in other countries. Like, other countries accept it as proof of a disability.
Yeah, rather than taking your original documents,
you can use this card.
You can use this card.
But I would check if you are going to anywhere other than like Disneyland Paris.
I believe there is a list on the website who
recognises the card as
who accepts the card. But I know for a fact that Disneyland Paris does, because it is on the Disneyland Paris website when you apply for your priority card.
Also, talking about the website just quickly, it's in French. Now, you can find you can translate it into English, but it is automatically in French. It doesn't seem to have as much information in the English side than it does in the French.
Yeah, obviously, if you're using Google, as such, you can use Google Translate, and it will translate the website into English for you. But it will show different information because obviously it's Disneyland Paris, and everything would be in French rather than English. I would say, probably describe it differently.
I mean, when we couldn't find something, I literally find up. It was supposed to be Disneyland Paris. The number said Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
I phoned them. It asked if I wanted to speak to someone English, which I did, and then I spoke to an American lady. She was very helpful. But yeah, so if you can't find what it is online, it's a free number as well, I believe. Just phone them, and they have multiple different languages that they can answer the phone in. They do say, like, what language do you speak? But overall, if you want to find the information, there is always some kind of like website or on the Disneyland Paris thing, or a phone number that you can phone. They've been very helpful. I phoned a lot prior to going on holiday with the family, and I phoned a lot afterwards, even for silly things. Like, as I said, I have anxiety, so I'm like, can they help me with this? Can I do that? Are you sure this is going to be whatever? Like, for my own needs, because I've had a panic, and they've been absolutely fine. They've been like, I feel bad for phoning, but they're like, no, don't worry about it. We just want to put your mind at ease, and so on and so forth. The next thing we want to talk about, because it's probably dragging on a little bit, is parking.
Yeah, disability parking at Disneyland Paris. There's not much information on their website. They do state that there is disability spaces. It does state that you can use your blue badge, which we have here, and if you have a similar one in a different country, that is also recognised by them for your disability parking. With the parking, even with your disability badge, there is still a charge to park at Disneyland Paris. It is €30 for the day, and it does state on the website the car park is open from 7 in the morning until I think it was 9 o'clock. in
An
the evening.
hour before the parks
it
close.
was an hour before the park closes, which I feel is a little weird.
Yeah, you won't get to see the fireworks or anything like
Because
that.
you wouldn't be able to stay and watch fireworks if you've got to leave early.
No.
But there are some other car parks that are local around the Disney Village. With the Disneyland car park, you pay on the day. You can't pre-book a space. So it is like first come, first served. With sorry, just checking notes. With the other two car parks, I know they are both around the Disney Village. I know one is at the top of Disney Village near McDonald's. I know that there's a car park there. But
which is not far from the entrance.
Yeah, it's not far. It's just the top of the Disney Village, so I would probably say it's probably just as close as the Disneyland official car park.
And it's flat as well, like so if you've got a wheelchair or whatever.
They do have disabled spaces as well. With the other two car parks, you can pre-book spaces in advance.
Are they more expensive?
No. Looking here, you can book a space in advance for €25 for the day. If not, it's €30 on the day.
Did they have different times of closing, or do they all close at the same time?
Just looking, both car parks are 24 hours.
So in retrospect, it'd probably be better to not park in the actual Disney Park car park and park in the Disney Village car park if you wanted to watch the fireworks. And what I will say, there is is it called an escalator? Like the things that you stand on the airport and like with your bag and it
people mover.
Okay. They were renovating them because they have them from the actual Disney car park to get you into the entrance of Disney. They were renovating them, but I don't know if they're done yet.
Yeah, I'm still not sure if they're finished yet, but that's one thing to take into consideration. Disneyland car park, they do have a people mover from the car park to the entrance. The other two car parks do not. You'd have to walk. But saying that, if you was going for longer than just a day, and you were staying in a partner hotel, obviously you park at the hotel for free, and obviously
free bus.
You've got the bus, so you wouldn't have the cost of parking in the car park. Obviously, if you're going for just a day, I don't think there's a way round of not having to pay to park.
Also, if you're staying in Davy Crockett, I do believe that the car park then is free because you have no other way of getting from, because it's an actual Disney hotel.
Yeah, I think because it's a partner hotel.
No, it's a Disney hotel, isn't it? It's an actual, Davy Crockett is an actual Disney hotel, so that's why I think that the car park is free because you can't get there any other way.
Yeah, I do believe. Yeah, I remember seeing that actually somewhere that you can get a parking pass. Even if you're staying in a Disneyland hotel or the partner hotel, you can get
so you can drive your own car around.
Yeah, a pass to park in the car park. So that would be free because you're staying in the hotel.
I mean, if you have a disabled buggy, well, I suppose you would ride it, wouldn't it? I keep saying disabled buggy. If you had a mobility scooter, and you wanted to put that in the back of your own car or whatever and get back and forth to your hotel, that's fine. But I think the distance between the entrance and the car park to the entrance and where the buses are, the free buses to the hotels, is just as far. So if you can, just get a bus. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't just get if you can. If it's big enough for the small space and you're comfortable doing that, just get a bus. Personally, I would just get a bus. It would be so much easier. I say we haven't actually looked at the car park. Not on obviously on pictures. We haven't been there.
But saying that, we have a day trip planned, which will be vlogging. So hopefully,
we'll be able to see
in the next couple of videos, we'll have our day at Disney. We'll have travel. we'll obviously take as many pictures and videos as we can of the car park, because we can't,
Find it.
even searching Google, you can't find many pictures or even information about the car park itself.
I don't know if that's a security thing. I don't know why it would be, but I don't know if it's to do with the security thing. It's like another, random, nothing to do with this, but like gyms in the hotels and stuff, even like YouTube videos that we watched. And you're thinking, why would you two need a gym? Well, there was a point where we were going to the gym or trying to improve our health and other stuff, and that was when we booked the holiday. So it's just we want with this kind of channel, or well, the things that us two do together without the children as such, is to focus on stuff that we needed or we was trying to look for our specific needs. I know it obviously is not the same as everyone else, but we couldn't find to give you a lot more information.
There's not much information through the Disneyland Paris website about disability. Most of our information has come through a lot of research and phone calls. So yeah, we're going to try and get as much information as we can, and obviously share it, because it may definitely help someone with a similar issue like ourselves.
What I will say, we went February, time prior to that was 16 years ago. When we went 16 years ago, we was with my mother-in-law, his mum, who was actually in a wheelchair. Like, she was wheelchair bound. She could walk, like get to go onto the restroom or whatever, but that was pretty much it. Majority of her time was in a wheelchair. And I would say, from what we've seen with other people in wheelchairs, obviously this time, unfortunately, she passed. But this time, we didn't have anyone in a wheelchair, but we saw other people. I think it's improved an awful lot. Yeah. They always made a fuss of her characters, always made a fuss of your mum and stuff like that. And if she wanted to get on something, we probably could have done. But I just think it's a lot more disability friendly now. Like in 16 years, I know it's a long time, but it's come a long way.
I know it's weird to say, but I think it's more common now that there are
someone that has a disability.
That someone has a disability, even though sometimes you can't notice it. It doesn't mean that they're not disabled in a way.
And they catered to a lot. It wasn't just like the physical wheelchair. It was like with the mental health and whatever. They cater to a lot of stuff, and I don't know if, as I said before, I don't know if the cast members have been trained in any way or whatever, but they just all seem very good at handling a situation. Like, no one panicked. Everyone, well, I was panicking, but no one else was panicking. Everyone else was. It was good. It was not. I say it made me feel at ease. Anxiety doesn't. Well, if you've got anxiety, you know how it works. It doesn't go away. But they calmed me. They helped to calm me until a member of my family or whatever could get me back to the hotel room, or however it worked on that particular day. They were really good. They were really good with other, like, in general, like other people. Obviously, they're very good with kids. They're good with everyone, but like if there was kids in wheelchair or autistic children and so on and so forth, they were very, very good with them, and it was lovely to see. And overall, I hope that if you have a disability, whether it be mental disability or physical disability, and you ever always wanted to go to somewhere like that, not necessarily Disneyland Paris, it could be anywhere that's like theme parky or with people.
Yeah, that don't get put off by it, because people may not look like they want to help, but 99% of the time they will.
I can't emphasize enough how I was not going to go. Like, we booked the holiday, we booked it. There's a lot gone on in our 10 years. Life story, but we lost my mother-in-law. I got cancer. The whole world went to pot in that time of the pandemic. My husband had a bad accident, and he was a mechanic, and now he can't do his job. My daughter we all got COVID eventually, but my daughter, Lily, got COVID while he was in hospital. Like, he had his accident. He was in London. I live 2 hours away from London. And my daughter got COVID at the time where everyone was dying. She had asthma. Like, it was awful. And because of our disabilities, our elder children look after us a lot on our bad days, and we just wanted to do something for them, and that's how it ended up. We went to Disney because that's what they wanted to do, and we made it happen. It was a struggle, but we made it happen. But on the last off, I was like, I can't go. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, there's people. We're in a foreign country, and it was just mentally draining. Like, I mean, I had a good time. There was things happened, but I had a good time. So for people that are like that, don't let it put you off. It took a lot, and I know what it takes to be able to go anywhere. I know what it takes. But honestly, if the cast members, the whole Disney experience was amazing, and to see
they're very accommodating.
They're
very accommodating.
And just to see our kids, like, they deserve, everyone's kids are amazing, but obviously our kids are our kids, and they deserved everything. They deserve the world. Like,
obviously, if you can get to Disneyland Paris, definitely do it, because it is the place to be.
I don't know if it was what Disney's like. Disney's magical, and it's generally everything. It reminds you of your childhood and everything else. It is expensive. There's no nice way of putting it. And I'm talking about that. We're going to try to do a video of how a cheaper way that you can do Disney. Now, obviously, that will only apply in a certain amount of time, because the prices and everything will change.
Yeah, with the pricing and stuff, obviously there's different prices for a lot of things, but we're going to try and make a couple of videos to try and help you out with costing, see if there's cheaper ways of actually going. I do know there is no getting away from the cost of a park ticket. Obviously with hotels and stuff, we will try our best to find which is the cheapest way to do it.
As I said, when we was looking into it, this was prior, literally a week before they decided to change the priority pass, annual passes. We had worked out that for a 5-day stay, which is what we done last time with our children,
it's £5 5-day park tickets.
5-day park tickets. It was actually cheaper for us to get
the
annual passes for the year.
Which, on another note, I don't know if they're still going to do it, but they did do, you can get an annual pass and pay monthly, which obviously, if you was to get a higher tier, I think was about €500 for the year. But obviously, if you was obviously splitting that throughout the year, it wouldn't have been so bad. No. But it'll be interesting to see what they come up with next.
Yeah, we will do a video on that, because that's something that we are personally interested in ourselves, especially as our children are now, apart from, well, 2 of them technically, when they're classed as adults from 12, aren't they? Even though obviously they're not adults. But price-wise,
yeah,
so 12
and up.
Well, our youngest now
is 11.
Well, he will be 11 in a couple of weeks, and our eldest is 24. So and they're in between that, they're 16 and whatnot. So they're pricing as adults, and that goes for restaurants as well. Oh, just quickly, restaurants, like Disney restaurants. I don't know about the village. I'm not gonna lie, because we didn't go into restaurants in the village. But Pim's Kitchen, completely accessible for disabled people. We went to Hunter's Grill, also completely accessible. We did go into a couple of quick services. Casey's Corner, there is a room out the back. We sat outside, which is accessible, and we could also see the parade, because there's a seating area next to Casey's Corner. Inside, it got extremely busy, and there's railings to get to each counter to order your food, which I personally, because I was the one that went in, I personally don't think it is big enough to put a wheelchair in. And if you're with someone that is able-bodied, then that's fine. But if you are there by yourself, or you want to do it yourself, not a good idea. But that was the only one that I could say that might have been an issue, was Casey's Corner, because that's on Main Street and it's quite small. because it's a takeaway. It's a quick service is what they call it. But all the other restaurants and quick services that we'd seen were all very accessible. Right, so we rambled for a lot. I've rambled. Again, we hope to do a video. I want to do a video on travelling from Folkestone to Disney. We're going to do a vlog for our day trip.
Yep.
All goes well.
All going well.
I want to do another video on what you're going to need, like if you're driving by car.
Yeah, we'll do a video on what you need to take with you, some French law, and some other bits and pieces. Obviously, if you're driving.
Also, I wanted like things about the Monzo cards and like things cards to that you don't get charged on for English conversion.
Yeah, paying for stuff. Obviously, most people don't want to take loads and loads of cash with them. So we'll do a video on ways that you can change that and pay by card. But we'll explain all that in another video.
Yeah, so hopefully you've got some, I know it's been all over the place, but hopefully you've got some kind of information out of this. If you have any questions and if we can answer them from either personal experience or whatnot, if you want to put it down below and we will answer you back. If you would like to see more of these videos, let us know. And if you have liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and really appreciate it if you subscribed.
Yep. And like we said before, we'll put as much information as we can in the description.
Or in the videos.
Yeah, throughout the video, you'll probably see some pop-up clips and pictures of what we've been talking about at the time. But other than that...
Yeah, let's say, if we can help you with anything, just let us know. All right, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.